Hello and welcome to the King Heroes Journey podcast. My name is Beth Martins. Super happy to be here, and I am expecting Persefoni Aishwarya. I have a hard time saying her name. To be on with us pretty soon. So welcome to the live stream. We can just chat while we're waiting for her. Come and say hello in the chat if you'd like to make a comment. We are live to YouTube and Facebook and X, Rumble, Rockfin, and Vigilante TV, I think, is a little stuck. Sane Lady is here. All right. Well, we got the party started already. So good. I have been preparing like a mad woman and a mad scientist in my lab for Anarchapulco coming up pretty soon. I leave 1 week tomorrow already, and I see Persefoni is in the house. So Persefoni, you can just give me a thumbs up whenever you feel ready. All right, that's awesome. And I need to just start Rockfin, so give me 1 second so that can, oh boy, here we go. And I'll just take 1 minute. Funny how it logged me out. Everything seems to do that on its own. Okay. And I'm going to grab a link to Rockfin for anybody that likes to be on that somewhat more uncensored platform, although I do believe that that happens there, and it's not quite ready to go yet. But here is that link if you prefer it for any reason. And without further ado, I'm going to bring Persefoni on. Hello.
Oh, greetings.
Greetings to you too. So nice to have you here.
My God, it's my honor and my pleasure to be with you here and see what it will come through us. And yes, I'm very, very happy to be invited.
Fantastic.
And yes, and have this opportunity with you, Beth.
That's wonderful. So for anyone who might be new to this channel, this is a relatively new channel. It hit over 1,000 subscribers since my last one got deleted. So that's kind of nice. And so this is the King Heroes Journey podcast, where I interview people like Persefoni who tell the truth. Now, we're going to go a lot deeper with the truth than I think, if you want to say the truth and freedom movement or whatever it is that's Steve Falconer recommends not calling it that at all, because he's pretty right. But truth goes much deeper than just looking in the world and finding the lies and then thinking that you found the truth and you're so good now. It's not like that. So we're going to go really deep into it. Persefoni and I have a lot in common. So this is for those that are willing to tell the truth next level. And so I see you as that kind of a person. We had the pleasure of being neighbors at Anarchapulco last year, and it was so beautiful to see your smiling face. And I didn't know you at the time. I didn't know who you were, but you shine like a very bright light. You were always kind and nice with me. And, when you go into the world, I'm used to that in my own world, but you don't know exactly what you're going to meet out there. And I just felt like I wanted to be your best friend.
Yes, because we say something in Greece that I think you will resonate. That we see behavior, we see qualities to others that we have. So when you see to me this light and whatever you said, it's because you have it as well. And this is the same that I saw to you, with this beautiful smile, with this beautiful energy, all this authentic spirituality. That for me it's very important, because we all know that spirituality now, thanks God, in one hand is everywhere. Even my grandma knows about it. It's not like 20, 30 years ago when we started. But in the other hand, we see also that the system, because cannot stop the awakening and cannot stop all this spiritual evolution that is going on. But what can do, the system gets in spirituality and can create all this distortion that you may also see in this field. And to see authentic people like you and share this energy, for me it's a huge blessing.
How nice is that? So I'm just going to let people know a little bit more about you. Her bio, I'm going to read it because it's actually really nice. She says, acting as a true revolutionist, Persefoni has dedicated her life to walking the path of self-liberation and authentic human expression, as she was just saying. Her self-discovery journey began in 2003 when she realized she was blocking herself from living a fulfilling life due to limiting beliefs and patterns. On a quest to reclaim her inner power, she acquired many tools along the way. Today, she's inspired to guide and facilitate others on that path. Persefoni is a psychologist. I definitely want to go deep into that. I actually haven't interviewed a psychologist before that I'm even aware of. A conscious yoga teacher, trainer, a spiritual mentor, retreat host who combines ancient Hellenic teachings, also very unique, Tibetan wisdom, and yogic philosophy to guide individuals towards their inner freedom. She guides weekly satsangs, the gathering of truth, the company of truth. Would you believe I just started satsang in my house of free will this year?
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, it was kind of a full circle. I went to India several times and had a guru, and we did satsang on the mountain, and so it's come back into my blood that way. It never really left. I'm just calling it that now. And Persefoni hosts women's circles and private sessions and retreats in sacred sites worldwide, bringing ancient wisdom into modern life. Persefoni is a co-founding member of an autonomous off-grid eco-community in Greece, which is so cool. I want to come visit. That embraces a life, a life of freedom and harmony with nature. We are brought together by our belief that immersing ourselves in the natural world and nurturing our spiritual well-being can allow us to rediscover a sense of purpose and fulfillment. That's right up my alley right there. And with her new project, Wellness Oasis Retreat Center, she offers the opportunity to experience a deep nature immersion and journey of inner exploration. Her mission is to support fellow human beings to realize that all the powers and truths of the universe reside within them, and that we are all pure divine nature. So, yeah. You're singing my song right there. Hello, A number one Savage. Nice to see you in the chat. Be great to meet you as well. And your first one. Nice, nice. Yeah, this will be my fifth Anarchapulco, only third time in person, but I am enjoying it very much and looking forward to it. So, is there anything else that you want to say about yourself before we get started and ask me some questions?
As you were reading this, I was also a little bit with humbleness because I'm in the path for 23 years. But a very important element to be in this path is humbleness. And but I was hearing all these things, and sometimes we do things and we don't realize how many things we do. So it was really, really interesting to hear that from you. I think we said many things.
Yeah.
Let's people just have their own experience through our conversation.
Of course, of course.
About psychologist, though, yes, I have a degree from a public university in Athens, a very good university, but I don't remember anything. I mean, it was like in a moment I decided to unlearn and forget what I've been studying in the university, and I start studying all the truths of light and many alternative like theta healing, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Of course, Reiki was my first 25 years ago, and Bach flower remedies, and many other methods that now we can use. I can use as a combination, and every time, also in the weekly satsangs or in the one-to-one sessions, it's whatever is coming to us. This is something that I believe, to allow the source to flow through us. Because if we think that we do something, then we limit it. If I do it as Persephone or you as Beth, it's a little bit limited. But if we allow the energy and the wisdom to flow through us, then this is divine and it's unlimited and perfect.
There you go. How beautiful is that? And yeah, so I first of all would love to ask you about your name. I do recognize the word. Studied a little bit of Sanskrit in India, and it's a name for God, is it not? An Aishwar?
Aishwarya is not a god, means prosperity.
Prosperity. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a
Yes,
different meaning. Yeah,
Indian
that's all right.
name.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is Indian name and being given from an Indian teacher at the beginning, to be honest, because I have the name Persephone. And I love ancient Greek philosophy and culture and all this. And my name is very particular and very rare. It's unusual to find in Greece. And my both grandmothers, they have this name.
Mm.
And this is very unusual. And my mother is Demeter, which is according to the myth of Persephone, because Persephone was the goddess and the queen of the underworld. So I want to talk more about Persephone than Aishwarya.
That's okay. Yeah, yeah, go for it. Queen of the underworld. You're
Yes, it's a
sounding good there.
beautiful meaning. Very fast, I'm going to refer a little bit about this.
Take your time.
Demeter was the mother of Persephone, according to the myth. So my mother is Demeter. So the name that came to me, it's very beautiful and it's an honor. Persephone represents the soul and the journey that the soul does, because Persephone was 6 months down to the underworld and 6 months up in the world, because Hades, the god of the underworld, fall in love with her and took her down. So, because Demeter, her mother, was very sad and she was the goddess of agriculture, when Persephone was down, up on the earth was autumn and winter, because Demeter was sad and didn't produce fruits and there was no harvest. And when Persephone was coming up in the world with her mother, then was spring and summer. So the myth says that Persephone represents the soul and the journey that the soul does, that goes down to the subconscious. Also, in the winter, we have the Scorpio period, the Capricorn period, and we go down to the subconscious and then up to the light. So it's like we collect all the treasures that they're underneath in the subconscious and we bring them to the light. And many other things about this myth, because the Greek myths are not myths, they're symbolisms, and they give us a lot of knowledge, wisdom, and a way to awake ourselves.
There you go. Yeah, I like to use the word map. That
Yes.
the symbols and the archetypes provide a map for what otherwise can feel like terrain. It's just chaos and it's going everywhere, no meaning, no order. So yeah, 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 I
I would
agree.
like that. I like
Mhm.
it.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. And so yeah, the underworld, boy, that's a big one. And I actually, for a short time, it wasn't very long, but I had some mermaid days
Mm,
and downloaded this archetype after my father passed away. And I was quite, I'd done so much healing work and really done, like came out of it quite squeaky clean in some ways, but having no idea who I was anymore. And
mm,
how am I going to get back in the world? Because I stepped out, took myself out to do the healing work, and came back, and then so the mermaid archetype appeared. I can't even take myself that seriously about it. And what is the big superpower of the mermaid is navigating the emotional underworld or the spiritual underworld, like you
mm.
like you say, the unconscious. And so it was my step into the world. It didn't last forever, and people still think of me with mermaids for some reason in my past. It's fine. It's still you'll still find it in my works here and there, but it's no little thing. Those are such easy words to say, and then all of a sudden, there you are up against something that you didn't know about yourself. You didn't see it. Maybe you
Mm,
saw results on the outside that you didn't want, but couldn't find it in yourself or didn't want to find it in yourself. So
mm.
many people will avoid that like the plague.
Exactly. I was like this as well. I
Yeah.
was avoiding this part of myself and I wanted only the light, only the light, only the light. But nature doesn't work like this. Nature itself has the darkness, has the light. There's some beautiful beings that also live in the darkness. It's not only this scary thing, and we shouldn't avoid darkness. And this is also the choice of my talk in Anarchapulco. That if you want, we can talk later.
Oh,
Is
yes.
exactly for this reason, because people, they are afraid to touch their darkness They're afraid to touch death, for example, and everything that is unknown. But that's why they are afraid of, because it's unknown. If it's not unknown anymore and people were not in ignorance, then it's familiar, then we're not afraid, and their freedom comes when you have no fear. When we have fears, and we saw what happened with all the situation with COVID, and we call ourselves rebels, that we're just normal people, and the truth, that, or alternative, the label alternative. What's the alternative? I live in a beautiful place. Okay, I live in a community. Maybe it's a little bit more extreme. It's an off-grid community, and they call me my life very alternative. But to be in nature is the normal thing. Hmm?
Exactly.
To
Yeah.
connect with nature is the normal thing. To heal yourself with herbs, tinctures, prayers, meditations is the normal thing. Is connection with nature and the divine.
Yeah.
All the rest is alternative for
Right.
me.
Right. Exactly. I know that word is very problematic. We're in upside down world, and I like to go back to what you were talking about, that point of wanting only the light. And this is what I noticed. So I, went to India 8 times, and I turned myself also into a meditation teacher, a yoga teacher. I started teaching about archetypes after I survived cancer, and this was the drive. I noticed the community. I tried so hard to make a lot of, friends and connections, and work together with people and partner with them. But because they had this thing, they loved the light and they hated the darkness, which they couldn't even say that. They didn't they didn't know that. Then they were dark.
Yes,
They
yes.
weren't kind. They weren't loving. They weren't generously spirited like you are. And
Mm-hmm,
this is, like you said, it's even the gifts end up hidden in the unconscious.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes, yes. It's very, very important. Very important to embrace this part of ourselves, because the mean attitude comes because you don't accept yourself fully. So it's a part of you that it's criticizing you subconsciously. So this criticism, when I do it to myself, I do it to you. I do it to everything around me.
exactly.
And it makes sense. So we need to embrace and love ourselves fully, completely, with these parts. And then by knowing this dark part of myself, I have the choice with which one I want to vibrate, with my dark side or with my bright side. But if I don't want to touch my dark side and not even know about it, how after I have the choice? So it's like forcing myself to be bright and be light and suppressing the other parts. That it's like you suppress. I like this metaphor. It's like you have a house and you have a storage, you have the ground floor and you have the floors. If you put uh, everything in the storage, in the basement, the subconscious mind, we can say, and you never want to go there, you never want to open the door, clean the place, and then what will happen? Humidity and many other animals can being invited. And what it will happen? Very soon, all this will come to the ground floor, to the conscious level. You can avoid that. If your basement is dirty and full of humidity and all these like rats and all these animals that they live in a dirty place, they will come up. You have to go down and clean.
Exactly, exactly. And one of the things I realized, because it can feel like a curse when that basement keeps chasing you, and you smell it and you try to ignore it, and so then while you are in that process of denying it, suppressing it, trying to get away from it, it pounds on your door. It will knock quiet at first and a little louder, and then maybe your kitchen explodes in mold and you don't know what happened, or all of a sudden you have rodents everywhere. Just continuing with your metaphor, and it's not a torture. It's not like this design is that, oh well, you're going to be in pain whether you deny it or suppress it, or if you turn around and you embrace it. I don't much use that word, but I get what your meaning is. And I realize that the reason it is so persistent to get your attention, that unconscious contents of the basement, is for your freedom,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
right? Because if it doesn't come up, there's no way to make any new decisions about it, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. How we can be free if we don't accept our wholeness.
The wholeness. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And wholeness is freedom. If you need to define those words, defy definition.
Mm-hmm.
So they're hard to define. And we have words that really don't touch it. They don't even approach the actual reality of that. We're addicted to experience. That's part of that. I gave my talk last year on ascension myth busting.
Amazing. Was your talk was very inspiring.
Oh,
Very,
thank you.
very
Thank
amazing.
you. Isn't it funny that their theme this year is ascendance?
Yes.
I'm like, oh,
Amazing.
you guys didn't catch my talk then. But that's okay. Not to it's not to sling arrows or anything like that.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, this is the trouble when we want only the light, and that fear of death, that, like you said, the fear of dying is to me the most formidable thing that we can meet inside ourselves. I got myself so completely out of alignment that I
Mm-hmm.
was a dying person before I decided to really look in. And that's after 10 years of meditating, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But meditating to suppress that rather than meditating to go in, to rise above. So that's my big cautionary tale to people, that if you only like the light, then it doesn't the darkness doesn't go away. And I really feel, and I'm curious, is there a time in your life when you had to really face death, that there was something that you couldn't turn away from, whether it's in yourself or someone else?
Yes, of course, of course. And I'm very, very grateful for these strong experiences and all these. I don't like the word difficulty, and I replace it with interesting. These interesting moments that we have in our lives when we go through, it's so liberating to know that this shall pass, but not just shall pass, this will be my wisdom later. So this interesting moment that now I struggle, that now have to deal with something deep, this will be my wisdom. It's my choice either to be a drama queen, for example, or be wiser and utilize this experience, get the best use of this experience for my benefit and the benefit of all beings. So, of course, actually, it's very particular, very interesting, because when my father left this dimension, because for me, there's no death, there's no an end. And I think you agree. It's a right passage. It's a right passage, and this was also according to ancient civilizations. So when my father left this dimension, it was a very traumatic experience. And I said, I'm not gonna go again to any funeral. This is the last funeral I'm going. And now they invite me to funerals, Beth, because I had the honor to learn some prayers that I can help the soul. Because actually, this that we call death is the opportunity for the soul to go to the light, is an enlightenment opportunity. Mhm. And either you're afraid and you go back to incarnate yourself, you go back to find the womb and incarnate yourself, and then you have to go through this life and all the experiences and the forgetfulness that you forget that you're divine and your pure divine nature. Either you go to the light and you have the full enlightenment. So it's an opportunity of for enlightenment, this that we call death. And I had the honor to know these prayers, and this it's gonna maybe sound weird, but to prepare even the body, but also the soul, to be protected, to feel safe, and go to the light. And this happens the last year, and this is also quite my name. The meaning of the name is this, because Persephone means um, the one that brings the light, because was helping the souls from the underworld to go to the light. So I'm invited to the funerals, people calling me, my dog died yesterday. This was my dog died. But 20 years when you have an animal, it's like part of your family. It's not a joke. And like, tell me what to do, how I'm gonna bury it, what I'm gonna do to. And life is full of surprises. So from one point that I said that I'm not going to any funeral again, now after 15 years after this, to be able to be in funerals and be a guest. How can I say that? It's weird.
I get it. I get it. Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I had the same experience that after I survived cancer and I was a musician and a teacher, and I would get invited all the time to sing or speak at a funeral. And then people would tell me also, I have one CD, I should share it with you if you want. And I think you'd like it. And they would tell me how many times a friend's dog was passing, and it was very long and a big struggle for them. They put my music on repeat and said it was the perfect death music.
Oh my God. Is this a CD that I have? That you
Oh, I gave it to you. I gave it to you. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use it, and
Okay.
we'll be together.
Okay. Fantastic. Yeah. If you can't play the CD, I'll just send you some MP3s because they're also there.
Yes.
But yeah, it's fascinating, right? When you are brave enough and you go to the underworld and you come back with the message, I didn't die.
Mm.
You come with that message, and then people can use you as a something of a beacon
Mm.
to at least, but it's formidable, the fear of dying. This is something that I got from, I didn't know Lester Levinson, but I use a lot of his work and studied with a lot of his students. And he says that the fear of dying is what we mistake for the feeling of dying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, so nice. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So it's no little thing, right? And you can't just say, oh, I'm immortal, because that's how I got sick with cancer. Doing
Mm-hmm.
this mantra, I'm immortal, I'm blissful, I'm immortal, and repeat it over and over and over again. There I am, a dying person.
So true.
Yeah. Yeah. So much deeper.
Mm.
And I like how you said about humbleness. To me, that's, this is not work to make you great, and the life will humble you, death will humble you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fact. And do you have a way to teach this? Is this something that you impart to people, or do you think it's just a matter of course that ends up that life humbles us sooner or later?
Um, for me, for example, in the weekly satsangs we had now, we ended the satsang, and people, I think they're already in. I hope that I sent the right link.
Nice. Yeah.
Uh,
Welcome, everyone. That's awesome.
um, for me, it's an initiation that life is sharing with us all the time, because we experience death for many things. Even when you end a relationship, every time you go to sleep, you end something, you complete something. Maybe not end, complete is better to say. You complete a circle. So in our lives, we experience this feeling of dying many times. It's not only one time that we will leave this vehicle, because I like what you said about your body. Yes, we are immortal. Our soul is immortal and infinite and eternal. This body is mortal. And what helped me a lot, and this is something that I apply a lot in my life, not just saying it, but many times when I'm struggling, I remember this and I say, Persephone, whatever you experience in this material world is about matter. And of course, I'm dealing with it. I'm not suppressing it, as we said before, but I identify myself with my infinite soul, my mortal soul, and the divine nature that I am. So that makes any struggle easier, because I know that my truth is divine, and every struggle is mostly the body, the material part of me, my physical body, that I honor it is the temple of my soul. I don't want to not eat healthy or take for granted. Of course, I honor it, but I don't identify myself with it.
Brilliant.
Hmm.
Brilliant. Did you want to say more?
No,
Yeah.
yes, we
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. The identification is so important to see how we identify. And it is, you could say that every single problem we have is a problem of mistaken identity,
Mm-hmm.
and how we have this mechanistic way to project ourselves into every, of course, into our body, like you're saying, into our thoughts, our mind, our feelings. The other person, I was, in fact, just working with someone who was recognizing, what we know as Stockholm syndrome, and identifying with the perpetrator, having
Mm-hmm.
having placed their identity with the perpetrator, because why? It feels safer to the child that doesn't have the discrimination, which is a very sad thing. But yeah, this identification is, it's if you can learn to sense identification, then it is like gold on your path, because as soon as you see a disturbance, then it's like a flag to me. Oh, there's some kind of identification happening here. Could I identify, like you say, with my real self, who
Mm-hmm.
I am when, before the body came, while the body is gone,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't depend on any bodies, but is full through all the bodies and all the cells and all of the words and everything. So yeah, that's a
It's
very big
very,
point.
very big and deep, and that can liberate us. This is something that is not something to cultivate, it's something to reveal, because this truth is resides within. So it's about to reveal this truth that we are divine, and unlearn whatever the system taught us, that I'm this, I'm that, I have to do
Yeah.
this, and I have to be, if I do this, I'm going to be a good person, a good woman, a good wife, a good citizen. All this we unlearn, we delete. And then when we unlearn, then this truth is revealed, our true nature, which is perfect and divine. And something that really helped me, and if I can say here, is one moment of a big struggle that I couldn't find solutions. I didn't know who I am, where I'm going to stay, what I'm going to do. It was nothing, nothing, black and blank, nothing. And then I started going deeper to this. It was full of fear in my life back then, like, who am I? What am I going to do? And all these questions of fear. And then I said to myself, Persephone, okay, let's say that you don't have work, you don't have, what is going to happen? You don't have money. Okay, if you don't have money, what is going to happen? You will starve? No. You will, if you don't have a house, are you going to be a homeless person? No, because these are also interpretations, are not our truth. And I went deeper and deeper to that, and I said, okay, and let's say that all these things will happen. Let's say that I'm homeless. Let's say that I don't have food to eat. What is the worst thing that can happen to me? What is the worst, the worst, the worst? Death. Okay. And then I said, okay. And if I die, okay, my body will die. My soul is infinite. So the vehicle is like we drive a car, and the drive decides to stop. This is for me all about now, about my physical body. It's a vehicle and the temple of my soul. So every time I found myself to be in fear, I go deep, directly there, and then fear disappears. And that's why the system, my dear Beth, doesn't want to educate us in this, in the most important thing. Why all the ancient civilizations were based on death? Egyptians, Buddhists, Greeks, all of them, the Mayas here in Mexico and Guatemala, they were based on death. All their philosophy was a preparation for this moment because was the moment and the opportunity of enlightenment. And the system doesn't want that. System wants slaves. System wants people that they prison themselves in this matter, in this small physical body. What?
Yeah. Oh, wow. You said so much in there. I actually have a technique that I use with clients called worst case scenario.
Oh
And
yes, this
I,
is it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I softened it by calling it best worst case scenario because on the other side of the, yeah, just because in case people get scared, uh, they don't want to go to the worst case. We have a little thought, oh, this bad thing might happen. And then you say, oh, get away. Because if I think that thought, then I'm pulling in these circumstances. But
Mm-hmm.
what you need to do is go all the way, what you described, all the way to death, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the difficult part where you actually, instead of pushing, that's what happened to me. I was fighting for my life. I was, after 11 months of chemotherapy, I was nearly dead. My body didn't work anymore. My hands didn't work anymore. I couldn't sit up anymore. There was like every day there was one less capacity that I had. And I all the time I had been fighting for life and fighting against death and being positive and saying I'm immortal. And but here I was on what I felt to be my deathbed, and I decided to stop the fight, to stop the drive, to stop anything. And I surrendered to death. I'm like, okay, all right, you can
Mm-hmm.
have me. And then I erupted in joy on the other side of that,
Mm-hmm.
barely seconds later. And I felt more fulfillment than I'd ever felt in my entire life. And I knew that my body could pass, but that wouldn't pass. I
Mm-hmm.
also knew it wasn't going to get me out of anything to just leave this realm, because I think that is sometimes how people see death as like, oh, good. Whew, that's over. I saw that with my mother. You could tell she was happy. Finally, the stress was going to end for her of the whole life. And it's not like that. We don't get out of anything. I actually have a question if you'd like to answer. Ron is asking, are souls male and female or gender neutral? This is a hot topic these days. What do you think?
I think neutral. According to Greek philosophy, they say that the soul doesn't have a gender, so it's everything. It's connected with everything. The physical body has a gender, comes with a male or female, just to play this role in this life and enjoy the game.
Right, right. It right away makes me think of the masculine and feminine archetypes that are much more associated with the soul than the body. Like, yes, you've got the signs on a body, but that doesn't, just because you came as a woman, it doesn't mean you don't have the masculine.
Mhm.
And then I always teach these are not two archetypes; they are one archetype. And this is actually related to my topic, my speech as well, that I'm going to give on the marriage of the opposites.
Oh my God, so nice. The
Yeah,
sacred marriage,
the
the
sacred
sacred
marriage.
union of the two principles that is one. Mhm.
Exactly, exactly. And do you think that's why the soul would be gender neutral because it's the marriage?
Yes, yes, makes sense because people also like to say, I want to find the other half. But if you find the half, you will have a half.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
all about to have this sacred marriage, this sacred union of the two principles, and be whole and complete. And because some women sometimes they're more feminine, more male, or men as well. But to be whole and complete is when you have both in balance, and then it's like one, as you said very nicely. They're like one. It's not. They're not two anymore. Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, they have the appearance of two, but in reality, you can't have one without the other, is
mm.
what I've discovered. So they really are a pair that work perfectly together, just the
Yes,
way men and women would. Yeah. Yeah,
yes.
beautiful. I love that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about just because I spent my time, like I mentioned, 8 trips to India to sit in front of a guru on a mountain. Did you ever have a guru in your work? I think you mentioned just a little bit at the beginning.
Yes, yes, yes. I
Yeah.
have a teacher. He's still alive.
Okay.
And I, as I said in the beginning, I'm 23 years in the path. And I knew from the beginning, this is my path, because some other people, they choose something else. And everything for me is perfect. Because just the blanket on that. In spirituality, unfortunately, is this separation. And a little bit we compare each other. Some people they like to compare, like my path is better, easier, faster, my teacher is better. For me, this doesn't exist. Every path is perfect because each of us were unique, and that's why we have so many paths, and the destination is the same. For me, what matters is the energy that we put in the path. If we're authentic, if we're truthful, not the path itself, but my approach to the path. So I knew that my path was to have a teacher. Hmm? I was looking for it. And when I was 19, I found a teacher that was in Peru, but I had never had the opportunity to meet him. And anyway, it was a big situation there. I'm forever grateful, but it wasn't for me. Um, and I will not go deeper on that.
Mhm.
But it was a complete circle. And then I met the teacher that I still have for 14 years now. And this being helped me to face all my fears, to see all my egos. It wasn't easy, and it's not easy for him neither, because it's a hard work, and sometimes you have to be mm, uh, not hard and harsh, but when you have something behind your back, this is something that I like to say, and you cannot see it, and you have mirrors also that they're brothers and sisters like you and other people, and they mirror you, but you still don't want to see it. And then you have a person that you call teacher or guide, and comes and takes it. But you were so much identified with it. So sometimes it's painful. So I have been many times in this painful position, but who is in pain? My ego. My ego was in pain. And thanks God that I stayed a part of all this mental crazy situation that was happening, and I allowed this being to show me, to start removing the layers and everything that they were stuck, and I thought that I am this, and I had identified myself and revealed my truth, and still is doing it.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Would you consider them to be an awakened being? We have this, the word enlightenment, that there are masters, Jesus and a whole list of other ones. Lester Levinson that I mentioned was awake. My guru on the mountain was considered enlightened.
Mhm,
Uh, he demonstrated all kinds of other interesting things at the same time, which is pretty classic for gurus in India.
mhm,
That the corruption is very rampant, and we thought we had the good one, right? Like everybody else got the bad ones, but somehow we had the good one, and it turned out to be pretty untrue.
mm.
Now I still value what I learned. It's not.
Yes.
I don't throw that in the garbage at all, but just looking. And so it's always interesting. I these days I'll come full circle with a question here, but I ran into Gangaji on the
Mhm.
internet. You're familiar with her? Yeah. So I've been taking it in because it's inspiring. It's not some doom porn on from one of the truther channels that I'm not that into anymore. And it was helping me, and I could, really find some, like you said, the looking in the direction of who I actually am, asking the right questions, going deep in, and and then she talks about, it's interesting because she talks about fear like it's very important,
Mhm.
and that fear is saving your life. Now I don't teach like this at all. I don't think fear ever saves your life. And in fact, if fear saves your life, everybody fails.
Mm.
Every single person is going to pass with all their fear.
Mhm.
And so I'm just curious there's several questions in here. What you think of with your teacher, that you feel he's fully awakened?
Yes, of course he is. He's a very wise man, full of love, even when he's hard.
Mhm.
And for me, it's a big sacrifice what he's doing, because he sacrificed his whole life in order to teach us and help us. So he is an enlightened being. That doesn't mean for me that also something that I am into that the last couple of years. That doesn't mean that we don't have also our humanness. Hmm? Because some people, they want the teachers, the gurus, to be like gods, but we incarnated in this earth, in this plane, in this body, and we have a human part. And this can be a big disappointment when you may see something that you don't fully agree with the person that you chose as a guide. And he's enlightened, he's an awakened being, but has also his humanness. Mm. And this is what I'm saying to my people, that they can't. We follow together. We walk together in this path. I'm saying, guys, I'm a human, but you don't care so much for my humanness, but more if I am into, how can I say, this is what I was saying before our podcast. Um, if I'm applying what I'm saying, if I'm into that, and if in one point maybe I forget how fast I remember. Hmm? Maybe one point I can be angry with something, but how long I'm staying in anger? Hmm? I stay 1 minute, 1 second, 1 hour, 1 week, 1 month, forever. But now with the work that we do, things goes fast. So when I'm angry with someone, after very soon, like 2 3 seconds, maybe a minute or 2 minutes, I'm getting out of this, because I know that doesn't serve me, neither the person. And if I'm angry with someone, means that this person is doing something that doesn't resonate with me. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna send him the angry energy. This is gonna help this person to be better according to my perspective. Hmm? That lacks something, it doesn't know something. Or I want to send this person light and all my best, because according to my perspective and my interpretation, he's doing something wrong. It's like very opposite the things that we do. Hmm? So if I believe that someone is wrong, I have, and I'm better, and I know better. From this position that I know better, I need to send light and all my best wishes to this person to get enlightened and stop doing wrong things and bad behaviors. So go back to my teacher. My teacher for me is an awakened being and has helped a lot of beings in their awakening, in their path. But I also accept every part of him, and I love every part of him. Hmm.
Nice. That's very generous of you. It's one of those things you can easily go looking like, are you my guru? Are you perfect? Are you not human anymore? Do you not have feelings? Do you not make mistakes? Do you, all of that kind of thing? And this guru culture has been a very big problem for people because of that, that they're looking for something that, they're expecting people to not be human. It is one of the reasons I like Gangaji. I don't consider her my guru, but she is a very beautiful demonstration of awakening because she doesn't hide any of her. She says she thinks and she feels and she reacts when there's a loss or there's something that, all of those experiences are still there, but she never forgets who she is in that context. So I don't mean to take her down. Now here's another thing. While I'm on the theme, that she got all the poison injections. And
Mm.
so, what do you make of that when someone, have you seen that too? That, all of the spiritual heroes out there in the world, that they speak so much truth, and they share the truth, and then they go running for a poison injection. And what do you think is happening there?
The path I follow is observation without criticism. And in this part, it's so difficult for me.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm trying to observe without criticize because, yeah, I don't like criticism. Um, for me, these beings, as we talked before, they act through fear because when you're awake and you're not afraid, because for me, in my case, my beautiful Beth, I said, better to die as a free person, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, but I die now, but I'm gonna die as a free human being that have my own choices. And rather to live a life that I kind of sold my soul and my principles and bought into the story of fear that the system wants for us. So for me, they're not awakened beings because awakened beings, they're not in fear and they're aware, they're awake, they can see behind the scenes and they have their own choices. So they're beings that they know things. They also hold wisdom, for sure. I don't underestimate, but they're not awakened.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, and especially where the claim is that they're awakened, and the whole Swami culture in India, that you should be given that title, not just like, oh yeah, I'm a Swami kind of a situation. And we had a kind of rebel guru, and I really liked that about him. But at the end of the day, we discovered that he was a really severe abuser, and even of children, right? That really horrific things. So how can you describe? And to me, this is actually part of that ascension madness that
Mhm.
occurs. So he had very high energy. You did get high in his presence, but high is not what we're looking for. It's actual freedom. So yeah, yeah. I just wanted to say hello to someone, Marcus Lenk. Welcome. You said you're new around here, and are they pastors? In this case, we're talking about actual. I mean, I think I'm talking about an actual guru, the white bearded guy. And do you refer to your teacher as a guru? Is it like that, or is it not in the guru culture?
You're asking me.
Yes.
Um, I It's very interesting because in my satsang before we were talking about this. So, and how I hope that I will answer the question. If I don't, you will tell me.
Sure.
How the system gets into spirituality, as we said in the beginning, and how many people they cover their narcissist behaviors and attitudes and put themselves in a guru place or calling themselves swami or a guru or a teacher, and underneath is a very huge narcissist attitude. And I see that as a
Mhm.
psychologist also, but not also as a psychologist, as a person that I can see behind the scenes, as we said. That not, doesn't make me better because I really believe that in humbleness, and I don't say it, I pray for humbleness because I know that as we evolve and we know things, it's like the spiritual disease, arrogance. So, and I know that if I go there, I will lose it, and I don't want to lose it. I want to be free. So I'm praying for humbleness, and I have people, brothers and sisters, and my teacher to tell me when I'm going to lose it. And I have put them in this place, like, guys, please, when you see me that I'm arrogant or I behave weird, please save me from this and help me to that. That's very important to have people like this in your life, in this path. And so I believe that there are people that they can guide you, and there are many awakened and enlightened beings. But as Satyananda, my first another yoga teacher, you know Satyananda,
Yes,
his
that
teacher
name.
was Sivananda. Sivananda is more well known because it's Sivananda Yoga, and it's more well known. And Satyananda was his student, and one person asked him, "How can I recognize um, a fake guru, a fake teacher?" And Satyananda answered that there is not such a thing. There's not a fake guru, but a fake student. And what means with that? Means that if I believe that you, my dear Beth, you are my guide, and I believe that, then the universe will make you my guide. Maybe you will be the worst guide for others. But if for me you will be my guide, the divine and the universe will make you the right guide for me. So it's all about faith. Christ also talked about faith when he was doing all the miracles. He said, it's not me that I healed you, it's your faith that did. So it's all about faith. I understand that I have heard a lot about the gurus and all the, we know what is going on.
Hmm.
And also the narcissists, and also people that they don't apply and they don't support the words, they don't walk their teachings.
Right.
So they're just words without the energetic support. But it's also about us and how we approach the teaching. It's not all about the teacher, it's about us as students. This is what I want to say, that I totally agree that are fake teachers, but they're also fake students.
Indeed. Yeah, you can't really have one without the other. There's no
Ex-
teacher without the students. So, yeah, you can look at that in a lot of areas in life. We have these psychopathic leaders and tyrants, and then how did we make them that way, right?
Mhm,
And learning to see that in ourselves is a much higher path of taking responsibility, and then you're not the victim in the situation by any means. And there is a difference. I agree with you how you've said that you can observe it, but you don't need to judge it. You don't need to hate
mhm,
it. You don't need to disapprove of it.
mhm,
And as if that's going to help them, it's not going to help them at all. But
mhm,
seeing, you see more. You see, oh, okay, that's interesting. You use the word interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's a fascinating subject. And one of the things that I really, really love about Gangaji, just because I kind of got her on my mind, is that a lot of her, she has no technique and no practice. Like a lot of gurus have, here's your techniques, and you do this every day, and it's prescription, almost just like going to the doctor. Whereas she refuses all of that, and her thing is always about inviting someone to tell the truth.
mhm,
So I wanted to go deep in this because we have it is possible there's a misunderstanding about what that means to tell the truth. When you go and you go to the bank and you know that the money's fake, and then you tell the teller that it's all fake, and then she's like, huh, what are you talking about? And that's, this is not telling the truth. Or
mhm,
there's so many examples of that. But to tell the truth about what you are experiencing. Now, you might have a higher mind and a lot of intelligence, and you got to that place of experiencing freedom or wholeness or all of those things. And then so you have the intellectual understanding of the truth. And it's easy to then go, oh, yeah, I'm not that problem. I'm this being, I'm beingness. And then you call it a day. And that's not the truth either. But to go and meet that, what is inside of you, even
Mm-hmm.
if it's ugly, even if it's fear and it's death and it's all of the things that we don't want to see about ourselves. But when you tell that truth and you say, oh, here is what I'm experiencing, then that is such a big door to freedom. Have you discovered anything similar like that?
Yes, very nicely. You said, yes, I totally agree. The truth, as you said, it's deeper, deeper in the surface that some people they touch. It's not, as you said, to go to the bank and say money are fake, money is fake. No, it's truth is a state, actually, if you can say, like love. Love is a state, and the ultimate truth is, according to my opinion, to know that you are pure nature, that we are, to know your true origin, your divine origin, and all the conversation that we had before, to identify yourself with this. Mm. And remember that, who are you in your core, and all the other things, also the darkness, also the behaviors, the labels, they're all layers that they're covered, is truth. Also, another thing that many people do is, and they say that they're advocates, truth advocates. They say, I'm speaking the truth, and I'm going to tell you the truth about yourself, no matter what. If it's the right timing, if you're ready to listen the truth, to the truth. And they just want to be honest, but this honesty without feeling and hear the other person and the environment and the situation. Because if you want to say the truth without wisdom, without knowing sometimes the way, it's not every time the same moment, or we're not all the same when we, is not for everyone the same way. For example, my teacher, in some people, he used to be very hard, but this was for arrogant people, that he was beating this ego and quite humiliating them to break it. This was like, I have to break this arrogance. To me, that I was the opposite. I was criticizing myself so much. He never been so hard with me. The last years that I gained my confidence, I was super power in myself. The last years, 5 years, he started telling me, because was the moment for me. If he was about to do that in the beginning, I could die or leave. I could leave the school and the teacher and everything. And it's not that the teacher or the person that wants to say the truth does discounts. No, but is wise enough to know when is the right moment for you to listen to the truth. I wanted to say that because it's very important. People, they say, I'm honest, I'm just saying the truth. Yeah, but is that helpful?
Right, exactly. People use the truth as a weapon. Yeah, I'm going to be truthful with you about what all your problems are.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm going to just tell you that truth, and it doesn't work. I train coaches, so starting in 2020, I decided to start training people to do what I've been doing for the last 20 years, and unpacking all these and seeing, when you just simply tell someone about themselves, that you feel so sure that you see that about them, and but you might also be projecting on them. You don't always know, and it doesn't go well. People don't want to hear that being told, right? It right away, even if it doesn't matter how right you are about what you're saying, it's not going to be relished or digested, even if it's the right timing, even if it has so much love that you gave it in general. Because like you said before, we have to have the revelation,
Mm-hmm.
Not
Mm-hmm.
just somebody telling you and then you think about it. You have to see yourself
Mm.
and meet yourself. And then I like how you've described very much this is part of the training, just to see, is this person um, need to be built up, literally needs to have more ego? Or is this person have sufficient or even excess ego? And then you can do some cutting.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, yeah, not a one size fits all.
And there is discernment. Discernment and wisdom, they're sisters, they come together. So we need to have discernment when we know the truth, when we say it, how we say it, and all this. Not to be actors,
Yeah.
not with this energy at all, but with the urge, the true urge and true will to help, willing to help, not just to spit the truth. Oh, spit it and that's it. No, I want to really help. And this is going to happen when the person is ready and the situation is mature enough.
Exactly, exactly. I watched it so much. Because we sat in front of the guru, and then some people would come in front of him. I remember this. What I remember to be a little girl. She was an adult, but she was still a little girl, and she had her pigtails, her braids, and she looked so innocent. And he took his sword out and he cut her head right off. It was just like, and we're all going like, "Oh my goodness!" But he could see the ego that we couldn't see, right? Because we have persona
Mm-hmm.
and we project a certain, this is who I am according to everybody. Am I okay? Am I okay? And then so we were seeing the persona, but he went right to the core, for better, for worse, again, but he was so bang on. And this can be so liberating. There are times where I thought someone would cut my head off and they were just sweet and kind with me and encouraging. And then there are other times I thought, oh, I'm really going to get some, they're going to think I'm great. And then out comes the sword and my head comes off.
Mm.
So, yeah, you don't know how the truth is going to look until it comes up.
Yes, true. True.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Hello, Emil. Nice to see you. And Persephone is originally from Greece,
Yes,
right?
I'm Greek.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But now living in, you said Guatemala?
I don't live. I'm just now, it was a traveling from Costa Rica. I
Okay.
had a retreat there.
Ah, okay.
I went the
Amazing.
2nd of January, beginning of this new year. And now I'm in Mexico. And then I'm going, my base is in Greece. But
Great.
I'm thinking to share my life between Mexico and Greece.
Oh, how nice. That's
This is
beautiful.
what
Yeah.
is coming, but let's see what will unfold. I'm open. I'm open.
Right.
You're
Right. Very nice. Yeah. Good way to live. And let's see.
all welcome to Greece. You, Beth, of course, but everyone that wants, we also welcome to the community. But also, Greece is really beautiful place to be. It's full of light.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. I've never been, but do you want to talk a little bit about what it's like to live in community? Because right now that's more rare, oddly. Like you said, more natural, but more rare that we're
Mm-hmm.
all in our little worlds and pods. So, what was that like to? Has it been a long time already? Has there been any difficulties with that?
Many.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you said that.
The people say, you live in a community and everything is like butterflies and full of lights. Why we go to the community? We go to the community to see ourselves, because before, remember I said about the mirrors that you have behind. Imagine a place with awake people or conscious people that they all work as your mirror.
Full
it's
time job.
it's full-time job. It's maybe sometimes it's hard for the egos, but it's faster. And for me, faster means easier. So that's my perspective. Um,
Yeah.
so it's not easy to live in a community for the ego, but for the soul is paradise, is heaven. Hmm?
Mm.
because the soul is really happy when share this life with like-minded human beings, brothers, sisters, that we share same vision, we speak same language, we talk and we understand each other. Now that we work together like this, we had very difficult moments with each other, hard moments, fighting and all this, but this is part of the process in order to know each other and in order to be able to help each other. Because now, if a person, let's say, identified himself with his lawyer nature, I am there to tell him and say, brother, I have observed that. If you want to see it, and just leave it. And they do the same to me. So now, after all these struggles, what left is pure love,
Mm.
because we have faced our demons together. We went to the underworld together in order to help ourselves and each other to see the light.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. But it's hard work. But for me, it's extremely valuable. It's priceless.
Hmm.
It's priceless, the work that we have done there. And now that we have the retreat center there, the wellness oasis that you wrote, that you read in the my CV, people, they come. Okay, it's a beautiful place. It's an off-grid retreat center. It's a beautiful place, but you have other amazing retreat centers and venues. But people love it because of the people. And they come and they say, wow, what we see in between you, because the people that we work in this retreat center, we are people from the community. And the visitors feel that, feel this love, feel this work that we have done together. So for me, it's a blessing. And I'm so happy that I see in Mexico so many communities growing. It's like now I was in another event and like communities. I said, wow. And they're all in Mexico, some with permaculture, some with different topics. They're not all fully spiritual. They are, but not all full, because my community is full spiritual, very based on that. So still, we don't have buildings, imagine, because my teacher wanted to build whole and complete and awake human beings. Because what to do with the buildings when the people fighting, as we went in the beginning, when people see each other like this, when people criticize each other? First, you build this, and after the buildings will come, because the people will be ready for all the abundance and for everything. But relationships are the greatest thing that we can have in this world. First of all, the relationship with ourselves, then with others, then with the whole world, with the whole universe.
That's beautiful. I love that. Yeah. And is your community with your teacher? Is that so
Yes.
you live there? Okay, fantastic. That's really, really cool. Yeah, that's so interesting. And it is to me, it is the Achilles heel. This is one of the talks I gave at the Nonconformist series about that. It's very good to think along the lines of these intentional communities and sovereignty and food independence and all of that kind of thing. But getting along, this is the big subject.
Mm,
That's the big one that if people don't learn to do that first, then it doesn't matter how good your food system is. It's not going to support life.
exactly. Exactly. And if we think how the indigenous and the ancient advanced civilizations used to be, they were working in communities. They weren't alone in one house, afraid death, afraid virus, afraid the system, being slave by themselves, because nobody else is putting you without your own will to be in this spirit, in this prison, but it's a mental prison.
Yeah.
So for me to live, not need in big communities, like You can have online communities, like I have. My community is, I mean, my own people. There is an online community, which we are also grateful for it. Like every Thursday we meet, and we know it's like an anchor. It's an anchor in this world, and it's very important. Mm.
Yeah, it really is. All of my work is remote now. There were times where I would have more local groups and that kind of thing, but yeah, all of the work is remote, and there's no disconnect. There's no, the everything that I still am extremely excited to give you a hug in person and look in your eyes, that I can see that light, not through a screen, but yeah, a lot of work can be done. I'm really happy that you've found that way to do that as well.
Mm.
Do you want to say a little bit about the talk that you're going to give at Anarchapulco?
It's about death as liberation, as we
Death
said.
is liberation. Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, a path into enlightenment. Because I believe that death is the core of all fears, and that fears is prisoning us. And when we're not afraid, as we said before, some other fellow human beings, healers, spiritual people, gurus, they bought into this story of this COVID pandemic and all this, and they did the jobs. So I believe that fear is everything, and the core of all fear is death. So I want to talk about this, going directly to the core,
That's
and
awesome.
talk also a little bit about the ancient civilizations and their approach, and the importance that they have given to this topic, to death, and how death is is the right passage. It's not an end. It's a passage. And also the ancient Greeks, they talked a lot, and they had mysteries. They had initiations that they were almost being dead. They were preparing themselves, and they were in Egypt. They were passing in thin robes, and underneath they were crocodiles. It's huge initiations that they were saying in the ancient ages. They were saying that in order to receive the initiation, you have to pass through fear in order to take the final initiation. Hmm? And if you make it, you make it. Maybe you don't make it, you fall, and the crocodile uh, enjoy you. So in the past, it was very important, and now the system is hiding, doesn't want to talk about it, and it's exactly the opposite that is scaring you. Like, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you have to do this in order not to die, you have to do that because otherwise you're gonna die. And then, like a zombie, you go and you do anything because you don't want to die. And then is there what I said, that I prefer to die as a free person than to live more 40 more years uh, betraying my principles and my values and my truth. um, so I feel that it's very important, and it's something that the system wants to hide as much as possible. So I just want to talk about that. I know maybe it's weird because some people say, "Are you going to talk about death?" I said, "Yes."
And everyone's going to run to listen, which I imagine they will, because you're so beautiful and a very good messenger for what people fear. And I mean, I'm all for this. I'm so happy to hear that you're speaking on this. It is something that if people could just, you know, not be so terrified, and it would allow them, when people in their life are passing, it would allow them intimacy to learn and grow through that, not always have to learn from your own death. You can learn so much from other people's death.
Hmm.
And the Dalai Lama, when I was very sick with cancer, almost dead, and I was reading the Dalai Lama, for better or worse, I don't know, where he's at exactly, but he did write this line, that until you really know death, you do not live your life.
Hmm. Christ also said that you have to die in order to live.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Life comes from death.
Die before you die, Christ
Hmm.
said. Die
Right.
before you die.
Right. Right. There you go. Yeah. Die
Mm.
before breakfast every day. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. And I teach about the hero's journey, and it's all dying, dying and being reborn and dying again. And
It's so
so,
nice that you're doing that, my beloved Beth. So nice. Mm.
yeah, I think we were separated at birth, Persephone.
Mm.
You feel like a sister to me.
For me, the same,
Mm,
exactly the
thank
same.
you. Thank you. Is there any other subjects that you would like to talk about before we start wrapping up?
What else? We said a lot today. Many deep. We touched many deep topics and truths. And what we can say is to invite people to come to Anarchapulco.
Yes.
Uh, the best is in person because the energy that we create there, it's so special. Last year, I was in ecstasy, like I was on drugs, because we were so different people there from different backgrounds, different paths. Some other people more in crypto, some other people more spiritual. Uh, but the unity that I experienced, a part of our differences, hmm, or different paths or different backgrounds, whatever, we were all one. And with people that I was talking, it was like I knew them since ever. It was an amazing experience. Very, very grateful. It was my first time last year. This is the second. I'm so looking forward to be there again. So in person is always better. But if people they cannot come to Mexico, they can watch online because
Mhm.
amazing beings sharing beautiful things in all levels. They can help in community, they can help in spirituality, they can help in crypto, they can reveal truths that you will not see watch in TV, and it's not very easy accessible. So in these kind of events like an Acapulco that I highly recommend because it's very quality people and speeches there, um, they give you access to truths that other people they have researched a lot and dedicate their lives for that, and then you watch something online and you take it like this with like 100 something euros. So for me it's like no reason to think about the money and to not be part of it. And
Mm.
also, I think I'm sure that they can have access to the speeches anytime if they pay online. So
Exactly.
for me, it's valuable this event.
Nice. Do you have a savings code that I could share
Uh,
that if people want to get a ticket?
yes, but you also have.
Okay. You're my guest, so I'll share yours
Persephone is my code.
in all capital letters
Yes, yes, with F
with
and
an F.
I at
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So there's the code. If you wanted to receive some savings even at this late hour, it's not too late to book a flight. I know I'm 4 days traveling and then 7 days at the event. It was I almost backed out, to tell you the truth, because it's 11 days away from my work and lots of obstacles along those that way. But I have a will to give my message,
Mm.
and it makes me a mad scientist. I was realizing that every year that Anarchapulco comes along, it makes me dig into my work in a way that I might not have with a topic.
Mm-hmm.
And 'cause I always joke at myself after, because my conclusions, they feel like revelations, and everybody's like, "Yeah, I already know that. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, I read that in a book or something," and I'm like, "No, no, no." So it's fun for me. I get to develop a lot and pass that on to my students and everything too. So yeah,
Exactly. So
yeah,
nice.
yeah. And you're very right about the people there, that I didn't know what to expect last time. And there's, a bunch of rock stars around and people with very large audiences. And the vast majority of them were kind and personable and didn't need to ask me how important I was before they spent some time talking with me. It was quite a beautiful, open environment in that respect. I felt extremely, um, on even ground, so to speak. And I was joking to myself. I saw the schedule now. Do you know what day that you're speaking? What time?
It's 18th is the second time, and it's 11:30 in the morning.
Okay, fantastic. That's the first day of the event, right? The
The
18th.
second.
It's a second. Okay, so I'm
The
on the
first
first day.
day, 18th. You're in the first.
I'm on the first day. Yeah, yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
I'm
And
looking
it's a
forward.
right. It's an Ike sandwich because David Ike speaks before me and Gareth Ike speaks after me.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I spoke after David Ike last year too. That was a hard act to follow, but yeah.
No, it's amazing. What time it is, your talk?
I believe I'm at 2 in the afternoon. Let me quickly check here. I did put this in the schedule. So yeah, 17th is 2 p.m. on
Very
main stage. Yeah, yeah,
super.
yeah, yeah. Really fun. And then, do you do any workshops as well?
No, we don't
Okay,
have something. Yes, you
okay.
do. You do.
I do, I do. Yeah, yeah. I always think I lost my mind to why I'm giving. Last year, I gave 2 workshops and a talk, and then it was way too much. But so yeah, doing a workshop on an introduction to deprogramming.
Ah, very nice.
Wondering if people are ready for that, and there are some extremely simple, basic ways to run like crazy and be able to get a lot of work. Like you said, that magic word, unlearn.
Yes,
Right? We don't need to add anything. God made us perfect, and it's just to take away what's not that perfection.
exactly.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna be part of your workshop.
oh, fun! That would be great.
Yes,
Hello.
pleasure.
Nice. That's beautiful. Hello, John Ellis. Nice to see you. I was thinking about you yesterday, wondering how you're doing. Lots of good folks. If people watching are not familiar, I do host the House of Free Will, which is a private association. In 2021, I got inspired to create community. This is only online at this point, although I have been systematically meeting one person here and one person there, and took a trip to Colorado and New Mexico this year to just hang out with one of the members and get to know them. That was
Mm,
really fun. And it's a place where we speak the truth. We have satsang every Sunday and fellowship meetings every Tuesday. So we meet twice a week. I do a video. Sometimes people come and say oh, you only do interviews, but they never hear so much from me. And so that's where you hear all from me. That every
mm,
single week I'm doing videos. There's 100 of them now that I've had been creating these. That will probably become a book. And so if anyone's inspired to join, it's by application. You can't just click a button and be there. I want to make sure we're the right people so that if we really learn to love each other and get along and maybe we meet, then we're all well fitted for each other.
mm.
Yeah.
So nice. I'm grateful for your work, for your commitment, for everything that you share with abundance. And I wish you all the best,
Thank you
honestly,
so
from
much.
my heart.
Thank you so much. And can you share how people would take you up on whether it's one-on-one work with you or to do satsang or even come see you? In
Mhm. Of course.
what's the best way?
We do many things. The family we have every Thursday and we meet. It's a very family energy, and I'm very selective who I put because it's very intimate. People are vulnerable, so it's not something that I open it on Instagram, for example, and advertise that. And I keep it there because I don't care so much about followers, but for people that they want to go deep and work with themselves. And you said also before, if it's one, you know, but you go deep with this person. So I don't say that to have many people is bad, of course, but I mean that for me, I want a safe space for my people to open up. Uh, and I'm thinking though to have another satsang every Wednesday, and I think I'm gonna do it. Not I'm thinking I'm gonna do it. So it's two days that you can choose to come. Thursday is more family energy, And we need first to meet each other in order to be part of it. So maybe better to come on Wednesdays. Wednesday satsangs, beautiful conversations, beautiful sharings. Of course, I'm the person that's leading it and I'm talking more, but it's for all of us to come there, share our wisdom, share our issues, and all together we are part of the solution. It's not only me that I bring the solution, it's that the energy of all the people that we've been part of. And of course, one-to-one sessions are valuable. And after we meet at the retreats that I do, that I also don't like, there are many retreats that I don't advertise because there are retreats that I want to go very deep and I don't want people that they want just to have holidays.
Mhm.
For sure, I am a divine crazy person, and we laugh a lot, we dance a lot, all the Greek stuff we have. We laugh, we dance. Uh, it's not like very spiritual with the way that we are serious, not at all, because spirituality for me is joy. But according to the teachings, we go deep. So I want people that they're ready for this dive. Um, so some retreats I don't advertise, and they're for people that I know and we go together in this path. And some others that they're also deep that I advertise, uh, but not so deep because everything I do is deep. I don't like superficial things. So we meet in person in retreats, and there we can share amazing energy. We can put in action everything that we share in the satsangs and in one-to-one, and it's beautiful to meet each other as well. Um, and of course, the yoga teacher trainings that after many years in yoga, the last 8 years, and me and my partners, we do yoga teacher trainings in a beautiful, fabulous Greek island
Mm.
in Carpathos. That if you want to be a yoga teacher, of course, but if just you want to go deeper in this path, it's also 21 very powerful days. No need all of us to be yoga teacher, for God's sake. We can just be good in the path and go deep. So this is also something that I really enjoy. Beings like this transformation in 21 days. It's incredible that I witnessed there.
That's fantastic. And what's the best way to reach you? Is it through your Instagram that I've got on the screen here?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Okay, that's great. Yeah, so you guys can click on that while you're in the live chat,
Mm.
and otherwise you can hit me up for the contact. Maybe we'll share this link in the show notes as well because I didn't have any links for you. So yeah, and if there's anything else, just let me know. But yeah, this has been really beautiful. I'm extremely excited about Anarchapulco, what the adventure holds this year. It
Mm.
feels like a blank slate, but it already feels really full. And I can't wait for your talk. I'm going to be cheering in the front row.
Me too. Me too. Thank you so much for the opportunity, for the sharing, for everything that we co-create. I really appreciate it and acknowledge it, and I honor it.
That's beautiful.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. As we close, I'd like to shout out to my son who creates both the music at the beginning and the end of the podcast right now. It's a little bit chunky how I do it, so forgive me. It's not that professional, but
This is
I
so
really just
beautiful and nice, your son. It's amazing.
I'm a proud mama. That's just all self-taught. You couldn't tell him to do anything. He's got the real strong rebel spirit, but if he takes an interest, then he goes deep, just like you. So,
And
all
mommy.
right. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I totally appreciate it. And stay tuned. By the way, just wanted to let people know Marty Leeds is coming on tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the alchemy of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you familiar with Marty at all?
No, not
Okay. Okay. Yeah, he's quite a community builder and a church creator, and he likes the Bible, and he it's mostly from a astrotheological perspective rather than, it's not a traditional Christian path. It took me a long time to appreciate it, actually, because I went through my own Christian path. We didn't talk about that, but yeah. So I'm pretty excited. I've got about 100 questions for him as well, and just wanted to make sure and let people know. One last thing is that I booked Brendan Sterling for next week. We're going to talk about the tariffs. That I don't know if you've been keeping up with that, but Canada has been, it appears to be quite a freaky thing. And Brandon always brings a very sober perspective that's not really truther. It's the truth. It's more like the facts. Bring the facts and let's decide whether this is some big boogeyman or not. All the boogeymen haven't really been a big fat anything, it turns out.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's where he's coming from. I think it will be a comfort to people. All right, my dear. Yeah, thank you so much for coming, and I'll play us out with another piece by my son.
Yes, please.
Okay, very good. Here it comes. Bye, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Love you, Persefoni.
Thank you. Thank
See you
so
soon.
much.
You're very welcome.
Yes.
Bye for now.